Let's talk to Richard Tice, Deputy Leader of Reform UK. Richard, very good morning to you.
Very good morning to you, Mike. And amongst all the doom and gloom, I can give you some good news,
Please,
Mike.
do.
Exclusively, I can break on your show this morning that West Northants Council, a reform council, yesterday evening overcame the eco-zealots and reaffirmed a previous decision to scrap net stupid zero targets that had previously been adopted by that council. So they are gone from West Northants Council following what we've done in County Durham. This is good news to celebrate amongst all the madness that's going on.
Absolutely. Have you told Ed Miliband yet? Have you broken it to him?
Oh, we look forward to the press release going out. I'm sure he'll be thrilled.
Oh yeah, I mean you're probably trying to find some way of trying to punish you, but this is a piece of good news. But let's talk about the next step as well in possibly some of the reform-controlled councils who will follow on from the Epping decision, because it seems to me, I've called it Epic in Epping. It seems to me that every migrant hotel now is potentially an illegal dwelling, because they cannot call themselves hotels, and so the precedent that's been set here by the High Court means that every other place where there is a migrant hotel, that can potentially be challenged and the migrants can be kicked out.
Absolutely, and reform councils had already been looking at legal avenues, particularly with regard to incorrect use of HMOs based on planning laws, and we will be doing the same with regard to migrant hotels where we have them. And you're absolutely right. It is a legal precedent. It's a temporary injunction. The judge has ruled that there has been a material change of use of the building, of the property, in conflict with its planning status, and that is very significant. So yes, reform UK councils will push on hard now, and I would expect other councils to do the same. Obviously, except the Lib Dems and the Greens and that lot. Maybe they can take all the migrants from these councils that don't want them.
Absolutely right. And what's your view on what happens next? Because a lot of people are worried, talking to me this morning, that this is, on the face of it, great news, but we've got to make sure that these migrants are not now somehow transferred into HMOs and put into the community living in private residences, when in fact what should happen is they should all get deported.
Well, they should all be processed immediately and be deported, and those 138 odd in the Epping Hotel, for example, they've got until September the 12th, so they've got 3 weeks, process them rapidly, reject them all because they've come here illegally, and deport them. And if there's a crossover, then yes, people need to be housed in former military camps. What's wrong with some good UN-type tents? And let's deport them. Germany's deporting people to the likes of Afghanistan. We should be doing the same. And I think that is the mood of the country. I think there's been a significant shift. There is a degree of rage and fury up and down the country. And we have to, I think it's incumbent on the government to recognise that. And they've got to get on with it, because people have just absolutely had enough. Now, as I just touched on, if those who protest saying refugees are welcome, the Socialist Workers' Party, the Antifa lot, the Greens, the Lib Dems, all the lovey-dovey's, well, in their councils, maybe they want to take them. Let's see if they're putting their hand up and saying, please come here. And let's see if they get re-elected at the next time there are council elections in their area. I suspect the answer is, oh, I'm sorry, we haven't got any room. What a load of twaddle. The hypocrisy from these people is truly revolting.
It really is. And I think what's interesting as well is we talked about this yesterday on Jeremy Carl's show, you know, the uprising of the good people of Epping, you know, the mothers, the children, the daughters, the sisters, the wives, you know, the men as well, just said enough is enough. You know, they didn't violently protest. They walked peacefully. They had silent protests. They had vigils. They were very patient. The police provoked them quite a lot, but they literally just stood their ground and said, we are not going to move until this is changed. And I wonder if this is a seminal moment now for British democracy, Richard, because as you've said, you've now started on the net zero crusade as well to get rid of all of that. People don't want these things, and now I think watching this, they'll realise maybe we can change things.
Exactly that, and that's what we should celebrate about a democracy. We welcome lawful, peaceful protest, obviously not violent or non-peaceful protest, let's be absolutely clear. But I think that these mums and dads in Epping, I think they forced the council to progress this legal action. And I think that their peaceful protests, I think, persuaded the judge that this was a significant variance to the correct use for that hotel. And so, yes, I think this is a genuine, significant victory for lawful, friendly, and what's been sometimes musical, colourful, entertaining protest. And the flying of flags, the Union flag, the St George flag, have all been signs of great patriotism, great trust and belief in our democracy. And hopefully this, as you say, it's a turning point. It's a defining, seminal moment. Certainly that's what the Reform Councils will be progressing in our areas.
Yes. Now, you might have forgotten this, but about 12 days ago, Keir Starmer issued a statement in which he said that anyone who comes to this country illegally will be detained and returned in short order, I believe was the phrase that he used. As far as I know, they may have detained one or two people, but they haven't actually returned anyone, and 2,500 more people have come since he said those words.
Well, it's funny how the Home Secretary, Yvette Cooper, was very keen to say that the first people had been detained.
Yes.
But she seems to have forgotten to tell us how many and what's happened to them.
Right.
Have they been immediately removed, as the Prime Minister was so keen to emphasise? And the simple answer is clearly not. No one has gone, because if they had, then we would have been told.
Oh, they'd be singing it from the rooftops, wouldn't they? Of
course they would. If it was in the hundreds or the thousands, they'd be singing it from the rooftops. I suspect we'll be lucky if it's into the double figures, let alone treble figures.
Yeah.
And that this is just more complete waffle and nonsense from this government that's long on spin and chat and very short on actually action. And we can all see that the smashing the gangs policy has actually done the opposite. It's encouraged the gangs. Numbers are up some 50% this calendar year. And when the weather gets better again, the numbers will continue to grow very rapidly. Yeah. And that's why the government's got to completely and utterly change course. They need to follow the example of the previous Labour government. Back in the early 2000s, people were processed in the space of a couple of weeks. They had a week to appeal, and then they were done and gone, and they were deporting over 40,000 people per annum. And that's what the British people want. We know it can be done. We know that other countries are doing it. We know we've got a woke, lefty Home Office. You need a whole new immigration department, and we've got to push on hard with this.
Yeah, absolutely right. Because, of course, what we also know is that Yvette Cooper told us 12 days ago that she would be giving us regular updates on what was going on. And since 12 days ago, we haven't had one update. And it pointed out to me that Halley's Comet is also classed as regular, comes around every 76 years. So I don't know whether we've got to wait that long for an update, but it could be quite some time. Well,
I think the silence speaks volumes, doesn't it, from the government? That is the simple reality. They're lucky at the moment because there's been an easterly and northeasterly that hasn't suited the gangs. But just you wait. There are thousands and thousands of migrants in and around Calais and northern France, waiting desperately to come across the channel. In fact, it's so safe now, many of them don't even bother with life jackets because they know they'll be pursued and picked up very, very quickly in short order. The people have had enough. And I think that the government now has a major, major challenge on its hands because the legal system will now be clogged up with applications from other councils. And it'll be very interesting to see that other judges confirm what this judge has ruled as well.
Yeah, I think so. Good to speak to you, Richard Tice. Thank you very much indeed, Deputy Leader of Reform UK.